Ever get that feeling, like there's more to reality than we see every day, like something deeper within us just waiting to be unlocked.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today, Western magic, and our guide is Isreal Regardie's The Tree of Life.
Oh, good choice. A classic.
Yeah, we're gonna unpack how this whole system works, how to tap into those powers we were talking about, how to connect with that deeper reality.
I like it. It's ambitious. What I find fascinating is Regardie, he takes, the really complex stuff from guys like Aleister Crowley and the Golden Dawn, all those teachings, and he boils them down,
Mm.
makes them make sense, even if you haven't spent like years and years poring over these ancient texts.
Totally. It's like he makes it like accessible, approachable.
Ex-
Okay, so no dusty robes required for this journey then. Just an open mind.
Open mind for sure. And one of the first things, at least for me, that the source material really nails is this feeling so many of us have today, this sense of being a little lost, adrift in the modern world.
Yeah, totally. Like we've kind of traded a sense of wonder for the daily grind.
Exactly. And that's where the magic comes in. It's this idea that, hold on, we're not just cogs in the machine,
Mm.
right? There's more to us than that. There's this connection to something, to these universal forces, to this potential way beyond the everyday stuff.
Okay, so we're not talking about, bending spoons or pulling rabbits out of hats here.
Right, right. Think of it more as self-discovery, but amplified, like on steroids.
Self-discovery on steroids. I like it.
Yeah. It's about harnessing this power within you, mastering yourself, becoming more aligned and in tune with those universal energies we talked about. It's about transformation, but from the inside out.
All right, you've definitely got my attention. So let's get specific. Where do we even start? How do we tap into this powerhouse within?
Well, the source material, it puts a lot of emphasis on something called cultivating your will.
Okay, cultivating your will. So not just like everyday willpower, right? Like I'm going to resist that extra donut willpower.
Right, exactly. It's bigger than that. Think of it as this focused intention. It's so strong, so clear. It becomes this driving force in your life. Like a muscle, you have to train it.
Like a muscle. Okay, so how do we train that muscle? How do we make it stronger? I mean, we've all had those moments, right? Where we surprise ourselves, we do something we think, where did that come from? Like this hidden strength, this sudden insight. How do we access that? But like on purpose.
Well, it's not always easy.
Right.
It takes effort. The source material, it talks about things like controlled asceticism
Yeah.
as a way to kind of strengthen that will.
Okay. Asceticism. Now, before we get carried away,
You know what you're thinking.
hair shirts and fasting in the desert. It doesn't have to be that intense, does it?
No, not at all. It's not about, punishing yourself. Think of it more like setting these challenging goals for yourself, pushing past your comfort zone, gaining mastery over those impulses, the things that usually sidetrack us.
Yeah.
Every time you resist that extra slice of cake or you power through a tough workout, you're basically what? Doing a rep in the mental gym? You build up that willpower muscle.
I like that. The mental gym. Okay, so discipline plays a key role, but it's not all about deprivation, right? There's got to be more to it than it.
Absolutely. You know how kids, they create these whole worlds just with their imaginations, right?
Right.
Magic, it sees that faculty, that imagination, as this powerful tool. And not just for playtime. It's for real growth, like spiritual growth. It's about self-realization.
So instead of just escaping reality with our imaginations, we're using them to actually like shape our reality.
Exactly. And this is where it starts to connect to that whole astral plane concept.
Oh, yeah. We can't forget about the astral plane. I'm already intrigued and I'll admit, a little intimidated.
Right. It's this whole realm beyond our five senses, like thoughts, emotions, they take on a life of their own there.
Okay, but it's more than just like an idea or a concept, right? How do we actually interact with this astral plane according to what we're looking at here?
Well, through practices like, it's called scrying in the spirit vision.
Scrying in the spirit vision.
Yeah, it's basically like projecting your consciousness into that realm. It's about getting knowledge, and self-discovery. Imagine like venturing beyond the veil of everything we know.
Okay, now that is next level exploration. But we can't just like waltz in there unprepared, can we?
You're catching on quickly.
Yeah.
It's not about seeking thrills or getting lost in some otherworldly experience. The real goal, the point of all this is connecting with your higher self, with your true purpose, and then, bringing those insights back into your everyday life, transforming it.
So it's a powerful tool for growth, but also a path that requires like caution, respect.
Exactly. It's like, think of it like this. You wouldn't go wandering into, I don't know, a dangerous jungle
Yeah.
without a map, without some supplies, right? Same here. You need the right tools, the right mindset, the right preparation to
Oh,
navigate those realms safely.
that makes sense. And it kind of leads us to another big part of magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Understanding and working with, and I'm using these terms carefully here, but working with the shadow side of ourselves, of the universe even.
Right, the shadow side. Now that's where things get really interesting, aren't you thinking?
Yeah, when you say shadow, I mean, are we talking like literal demons, dark forces?
Because things just got very, very interesting.
Well, while magic acknowledges those darker aspects, those possibilities, it's not about, some epic battle with monsters in a dungeon. It's more about facing yourself, the parts of yourself you'd rather avoid. Those fears, those negative patterns, those things we all carry around, those inner demons, they can really hold you back.
So it's about facing those shadows,
Yeah.
integrating them, not just pretending they don't exist. Exactly. It's about wholeness,
Yeah.
And the source material, it gives you some practical tools to navigate all of that. Things like, for example, the banishing ritual of the pentagram.
Oh, I've heard of that, but that's not about like literally warding off demons, right?
It can be,
Mm.
but it's more about creating a safe space
Yeah.
for yourself, for your inner work, setting boundaries, energetic boundaries.
So it's like clearing the air of negativity, creating a clean slate before you like dive to deep self-reflection.
Precisely. It's approaching this work with a clear intention, with the understanding that you have the power to command your space, to protect your energy.
I like the sound of that. Commanding your space, protecting your energy. But how do we actually do that? How do we interact with these energies?
Ah, now that is where things get truly fascinating. Magic uses all sorts of tools,
Yeah.
but not like you'd think. They're not just objects, but like conduits. Ways to focus your will, to interact with these unseen forces we're talking about. And one method, it might surprise you, is sound.
Sound, like chanting or mantras, something like that.
You're on the right track. The source material, it gets into the vibration of sound, specifically using divine names.
So it's not just the words themselves, but the energy they carry.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Each sound, it has this unique vibration of frequency,
Mm.
and that resonates within us. It can even influence the world around us.
You're saying we can use sound to like manifest things, to create change in the physical world.
That's the idea. It's like a sonic bridge between our intention and reality.
This is wow, okay, this is blowing my mind. So we've got sound. Are there other tools like that?
Oh, absolutely. Symbols, colors, even incense. They're not just, superstitious trinkets. They're tools, ways to focus your will, to create resonance.
So it's like having this whole arsenal of tools at our disposal, each with its own like purpose and potency.
Precisely. But remember, the tools themselves, they're just conduits. The real power, it's inside you. Your intention, your focus, how you understand and use these forces.
Okay, that makes sense. But with all this, with a system this complex, it seems like it'd take years of study to even like scratch the surface.
Well, here's where things get really interesting. The source material, it draws on so much ancient wisdom, like Jewish mysticism, for example.
Right.
But, and this is crucial and emphasizes that dogma, like rigid rules,
Hmm.
they have no place in true magic. It's not about blindly following. It's about experiencing, about trusting your intuition.
So it's about making it your own, adapting these principles, finding what works for you.
Exactly. It's an invitation to explore, to experiment, to
Yeah.
create your own unique path.
That is incredibly empowering.
Yeah.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Western magic. So we've uncovered some pretty intriguing stuff, tapping into hidden potential, the astral plane, that's some powerful stuff. But now I'm really curious about the practical side of all this. What are the actual techniques, the practices that can help unlock those powers?
One thing that really strikes me about all of this is it's not about being passive. You don't just wait for enlightenment to strike you like a bolt from the blue, right?
Yeah, right.
It's about action. It's about taking control, shaping your own transformation.
It's like grabbing the reins of your own like spiritual evolution.
Precisely. And it makes me think of another practice that shares that same spirit. Have you ever, looked into yoga at all?
Sure. I've dabbled. I'm familiar with chakras, those energy centers, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Each chakra, it's connected to different qualities, different aspects of like our consciousness.
Right.
And yoga, it's all about activating them,
Yeah.
balancing them. The goal is, well, union with the divine.
Okay, so are you drawing a parallel here
Sure.
between yoga and the magical system we're talking about?
Absolutely. Because If you look at it, each sephira on the tree of life, that symbolic map we talked about, it corresponds to an energy center within us. So as you go deeper into the tree,
Yeah.
you're also working with those inner energies, just like in yoga.
So two different paths, but maybe headed to a similar destination.
Exactly. It's about finding the path that resonates, and then it's all about the practice, the commitment.
I like that. It puts the power in our hands to choose to commit.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to a concept we touched on earlier, the will. Because it's not just wishful thinking, right? It's about cultivating that focus intention that just pushes you forward.
So it's more than just willpower, it's like laser focus.
Exactly. The source material, it describes a scattered will. Well, it's like a weak flame, easily blown out. But a concentrated will, focused on a purpose, that's power. That's transformative.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. So how do we do it? How do we cultivate that kind of like unshakable will?
One technique the source material talks about is the practice of vows, of oaths.
Whoa, hold on. Like pledging myself to a secret society of magicians.
It can be like that, sure. But in this context, it's about making a commitment, a powerful one, to yourself, to your practice. You set an intention and you vow to follow through no matter what.
So even when no one's watching, it's about self-discipline.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
discipline, it strengthens your will, but it helps you to overcome those little distractions. Like how many times have you resisted checking your phone every 5 seconds?
Uh-huh. Oh, more than I can count. It's a struggle.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's a mini workout for your will right there.
So build that mental fortitude, and those impulses, those distractions, they lose their power over us.
Exactly. It's about mastery. You become the master of your mind, not the other way around. The source material argues that a strong will, it doesn't just, make you better at magic, it spills over into everything. Imagine going after your goals with that kind of focus.
Okay, you've convinced me a strong will is a must-have. But there's more to magic than just willpower, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's not all like mental exercises. Remember we were talking about the astral plane before?
Oh, yeah, things are about to get interesting again.
Right. To really, really interact with those energies, navigate that plane, you need to understand, well, sigil.
Sigils, okay. I've heard the term, but
Yeah.
what are they exactly?
Imagine a symbol, right? But it's charged with your intention, like a beacon shining out into the astral plane. That's a sigil.
So it's like a magical symbol that carries your desires out into the universe.
You got it. It's a way to imprint those intentions onto those subtle realms. It's like sending a message. And it's not just some vague idea. The source material lays it all out. How to create them, how to charge them with your will.
So you're telling me we can create these symbols, infuse them with our focused intention, and manifest our desires.
That's the basic idea. And here's the really interesting part. The source material suggests that once you've, released that sigil, let go. Let go of the desire. Let your subconscious mind work its magic.
It's about trusting the process, surrendering to the mystery.
Exactly. Because doubt, it can really mess things up. You've got to believe.
Our beliefs really do shape our reality, don't they?
Absolutely. It's not blind faith. It's trusting yourself, your practice, and those forces we're working with. And that trust, that belief, it's amplified when, you start combining these different tools, these techniques. Remember how we were talking about sound before?
Yeah, the whole using sound vibrations to shift consciousness, even to influence the physical world.
Right. Well, guess what? Sound is a big deal in magical practices too.
Oh, I bet. So we're talking chants, mantras, you name it.
You got it.
Yeah.
But it goes deeper than that. The source material, it emphasizes the spoken word, especially the vibration of divine names. That's how you tap into specific energies, create powerful effects.
So it's like, what, a magical language?
Right.
Using sound to communicate directly with those realms.
Exactly. You're harnessing the power of sound, amplifying your intention, creating resonance.
I love it. It's like magic gives us a whole new way to interact with the universe, using things we don't normally think of as magical.
Exactly. And here's where it gets even more interesting, combining sound with visualization. Remember we were talking about visualization earlier?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Well, the source material suggests that when you combine sound, visualization, and that clear intention, you create this synergy. The effect of your magic, it's magnified.
So it's not just about individual techniques, it's about weaving them together.
Exactly. It's a tapestry of intention and energy.
Yeah.
To master this, you need to understand something called correspondences.
Correspondences. Now, that's a new one on me.
Okay, so imagine like this cosmic web, right?
Hmm.
Connecting everything in the universe through symbols, colors, plants, metals, even the days of the week. They're all associated with certain planets, energies, magical forces.
So it's like a decoder ring for the universe. Everything has a deeper meaning.
Exactly. Once you understand these correspondences, you can choose the right tools, the right techniques that line up with your intentions, amplify what you're doing.
Wow, that adds a whole new layer of complexity to it.
Oh, absolutely. It's about working with a natural flow, tapping into those connections to
Yeah.
make things happen.
So it's not just willpower, but also working with the universe's own rhythm, its patterns.
Exactly. And that brings us to something that's often, I think, misunderstood, the role of ritual.
Ritual, I thought that was more like, secret societies, ceremonial magic, that kind of thing.
Not necessarily. The source material, it presents rituals as tools, powerful tools for focusing the will, creating a sacred space, and directing that energy towards a goal.
So it's like, what, like a container for your intention, making it stronger.
Precisely. And it doesn't have to be rigid, following some ancient script to the letter. The source material, it encourages you to personalize it, make it your own, use what resonates with you.
So we have the freedom to create rituals that feel meaningful without being bound by tradition.
Exactly. It's about what works, what feels right. Whether it's lighting a candle with intention or something more elaborate, the key is reverence, focus, and a clear picture of what you want.
So rituals are a way to like connect with something bigger, tap into those unseen forces, and actually like steer them.
You got it. And that leads us to one of the most, well, let's just say intriguing aspects of all of this,
Mhm.
altered states of consciousness.
All right, you've officially piqued my interest. We're talking trances, visions, that kind of thing.
Think of it as a state of awareness where the line between the physical world and those subtler realms, it starts to blur. You can access information, experiences that your normal senses just can't grasp.
Okay, I'm hooked. How do we get there? We're talking chanting, meditation, what?
Well, the source material, it mentions something called scrying in the spirit vision. We talked about it a little bit before, remember, with the astral plane.
Oh, right. Projecting your consciousness out there.
Exactly. And as wild as it might sound, the source material actually gives techniques to develop this ability, focusing on a crystal ball, a mirror, even just a point in space.
So you're training your mind to perceive beyond everyday reality.
Precisely. Like developing a sixth sense. But just like with anything powerful, caution is key.
Right, you don't want to wander off the path without a map. So what kind of precautions are we talking about?
Well, the source material warns about getting lost in those realms, encountering energies you're not ready for. That's why grounding, protection, those are essential.
So it's like, have your safety net ready before you dive into the deep end of the astral plane.
Exactly. You want to navigate safely and return to your body fully integrated, empowered.
Makes sense. We've covered so much. Willpower, sound, sigils, correspondences, even altered states of consciousness. This system is incredibly complex.
It is, and we're just scratching the surface. But we've touched on some key things that can help you, unlock that potential. Connects with something deeper.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. We've been through the tree of life, the will, the astral plane. Wow, it's a lot to take in, right? But now we're getting to what feels like the heart of it all, the knowledge and conversation with the holy guardian angel. It's a big one,
It's definitely a concept that sparks a lot of, let's say, curiosity.
to put it mildly. So before we get into it, I have to ask, the holy guardian angel, it's not like some external being, right? Like we're not praying to an angel out there somewhere.
You're on the right track there. It's much more intimate than that. It's about accessing something within you, the wisest, most, I guess you could say, divine aspect of yourself.
Okay, so like our own internal compass,
Yeah.
guiding us, pointing the way.
Exactly. It's a connection to your own, well, higher self.
Ah.
And knowledge and conversation, it applies a back and forth, the dialogue with that part of you. Imagine having access to that kind of wisdom, that clarity, all the time.
That sounds, it sounds incredible, but
Hey.
achieving that level of connection, it's got to be a journey, right? Not just something you snap your fingers and there it is.
The source material makes it clear this is a process, a gradual one. Self-discovery, purification, it's all part of it. You refine yourself, master your will, and you align with your, with your purpose.
So this isn't just like a mental exercise, it's bigger than that, a shift in who you are on a fundamental level.
Exactly. And it often means facing those parts of ourselves we'd rather not, the shadows we talked about before.
So fears, limitations, the whole shebang.
All of it. It's not always pleasant, I won't lie.
Hmm.
But it's through those challenges that we refine ourselves. We create the space for that higher connection to come through.
This is where I always picture those like intense rituals, the ones shrouded in mystery. Is that what we're talking about here?
Well, the source material does mention one practice in particular, the Abramelin operation.
The Irwin operation. Okay, that sounds serious. What is it?
It's a 6-month-long ritual designed to facilitate contact with a holy guardian angel.
6 months. Okay, that's dedication. So what do you have to do for 6 months?
It's a whole system. Prayers, purification rituals, invocations. Think of it like a daily practice to gradually, raise your vibration, prepare you for that encounter.
Raise your vibration. That sounds potent. So what does that actually mean in a practical sense?
Think of it like purifying your thoughts, your emotions, even your actions, becoming a clearer channel for that divine connection. The source material makes it clear it's not about becoming superhuman, it's about reaching your highest potential.
Becoming the best version of yourself.
Exactly. The magic, it's already there within you. It's about creating the conditions for it to work.
I like that. So, okay, 6 months of this Obermillin operation, and then what? Knowledge and conversation achieved. Just like that.
That's where it gets really interesting, because the source material, it doesn't promise some cookie-cutter outcome. It says the experience is different for everyone.
So there's no, like, one-size-fits-all result.
Exactly. For some, it might be this huge shift in consciousness, like a bolt of lightning, life-changing. For others, it might be more gradual, a slow unfolding.
So it's not about reaching some finish line. It's about the journey itself.
You got it.
Yeah.
And the source material stresses, even if you do achieve that knowledge and conversation, that's not the end. It's about going deeper, integrating those insights into everything you do.
That's both inspiring and a little daunting. Like the real work, the real magic, it never really ends.
Precisely. It's a lifelong pursuit.
Yeah.
It's about always growing, always evolving. And that's, I think, what makes it so fascinating.
This has been, wow, it's been quite a journey. We've covered so much ground, ancient wisdom, powerful techniques, and it all points to this incredible potential within each of us. As we wrap up, what's the key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
Remember this. Magic, at its core, it's about realizing your potential. That potential that's already within you. It's about connecting with your highest self, embracing your power, and using it to create a life that truly means something to you.
Beautifully said. And for everyone listening, if this has sparked your curiosity, if something's resonated with you, remember that this is just the beginning. The real magic happens when you take these ideas, these tools, and you embark on your own journey. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.